we're back. We're back. There's so much clicking around. And when there's so much clicking around, I feel like if I don't mute it, there's like, you guys just on the other end just hear us going back and forth. There he is, the man of the hour. Now, Brofit's texting me. He's sending me these profound thoughts around movement. Most recently, I feel like I've been playing so much catch up. If you guys have been following anything on X and even Instagram for any daily dads or BS content, I'm going through about 35 days of content right now as I get myself back up and running after a busy summer. And actually, I had a harder time with not having the appropriate equipment. So I now have it and it's good. So anyway, Bro, what's going on? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good. You know, one thing that's on my mind, I can't seem to change my microphone. I feel like my microphone is in this and it doesn't sound as good as, I can't seem to connect my microphone. I can't seem to connect my AirPods, which is bothering me. So I'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, I was flipping through one of the Whatnot channels the other day, and it's like a Pokemon channel or something, and all of a sudden I just tuned in, and it's like, boom, the clarity of their music and their microphone was just, I just sat there and listened to their music. I didn't even care about the Pokemon because the music in the background was so crystal clear, and it felt like it was just like the best sounding quality ever. And I literally sat there for like 45 minutes and just listened to music on their stream.
Nice.
So yeah, clarity can make a big difference, definitely.
Do you feel like it's not coming through as well in here?
No, I think it's coming through quite fine. I just, you know, when somebody uses like a boom mic, or if like Coleman shows up on his stream, it just, the clarity of his picture and the sound, it just seems a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like you're in a closed sound environment, just a little more condensed and noise canceled kind of a deal.
Yeah, I hear you. We'll have to, well, you know what we'll do? We'll get up to speed with these Pokemon.
That's right.
Things. So let me get I feel like sometimes reading anything from Scuba is like a mind teaser. So yeah. Anyway, it looks like he's checking his labs over here, which is great. I think it's a great discussion. We see the troponins a little bit high on that side, but really it's nothing too crazy. I don't think that it's something, I'm actually just double checking. So I think it's definitely good. Did you go in to get your blood work for any reason, Scuba? Just because I think that if it's something where you feel as if, was there a major event? Did you have an acute event? What ended up happening? Let us know. All right, got it. Yeah, first one was true. It always is. Okay, got it. Some heart damage. What's going on, man? This is a heavy thing right now. Yeah. I mean, just throwing troponin out there, I think is pretty good. I'm assuming you have more labs than just troponin that you would end up sharing with us if you did have a cardiac event of some sort too. CRP, anything else around, even blood sugar could have been elevated at the most simplest level. Anyway, I hope you're feeling okay. I also don't know if he's joking, because that's just like Scuba's thing. So I have no clue. But I hope you're feeling okay, buddy. And maybe it was just pneumonia. Not sure. But we do have a waffle in the crowd. Not on the couch here. Popped up. Yeah, I hear you. You're just sick. You know what? There was a time where I went in for my annual, and I had just come back from a pretty heavy workout. I went to the doctor after heavy workout, and my white blood cells were like through the roof. And I remember my doctor had sent a message to me. He's like, "Do you know why this is happening?" I was like, "Well, it's probably because I just had a really hard workout before I came in." But like, there was no communication after that. I was like, the fact that someone's like white blood cells could be through the roof in their labs could mean a couple things. And so, and I said that I had a workout because I did understand what could be happening. But like, what if it was something else? I'm just surprised that he kind of stopped the conversation after that. So interesting stuff. All things healthcare. How How are we feeling? What's going on? What are we doing? We got, okay, guys, this is it. Hold on. I'm so sorry to steamroll. So you're here. This is Health Dads. We are always talking about, I think first and foremost, trying to put dads up here on a stage where we can make sure that we are bringing confidence to health, mindset, and connection. We have a few other shows under the VDads umbrella, which is the VDads podcast, which is going to be Health Dads here. We also have Daily Dads every single morning. And so, yeah, that's where we're at right now. We're with Brofit himself. He is a world renowned trainer. I am Ryan. I'm a registered dietitian specializing in sports nutrition, men's health, and it is something we're bringing to you guys. So we always want to make sure that we are going through at least 3 things as we kind of build out an identity for a show, which is just fun. I mean, getting our head out there. It's just, there's so much that goes on up here that we don't know how to get it out, and this is one way. So we always love to hit on, current topics within clients and just the nutrition training space in general. Also, Brofit gives us a movement of the day that you guys can work either at your desk, in the office. Even, hips and I think posture, those were 2 things that I love the most so far that you definitely hit on, Brofit. And then we also have been doing a fun little thing where we battle, or we have a little debate on a topic, which I don't even have my wheel up, by the way. I got to get my wheel together. Oh, good, it's here. So we'll pull up a wheel I'll even show you guys just so that you know what's going on. And then we'll give Brofit a moment to speak because I just spoke for like 12 minutes, I feel like.
It's all good.
But here we go. This is, oh, that's troponin. We don't want that. I was double checking. I knew exactly what I was going to be looking at when you looked at your lab, bud. But yeah, this is our wheel of things to talk about. You can't really see it so well right now. But a few topics on nutrition training. I think this is very training specific, though, to be honest. I wanted to be on Brofit's side, but we will give that a spin at some point, and we will see what we're going to be talking about. So we'll get back there. Traditional cardio, easy one. That would have been an easy one, but we'll see. We'll come back up to it. Anyway, so what's going on? Anything? We see a question over here from Scuba, which we can get to in a second. But what's going on with clients right now? Anything new or different happening?
Nothing crazy new with clients. They're moving and grooving. I've got a VFriend community member that I've been working with kind of incognito. I try to stay quiet about when I'm working with certain individuals, just because I don't know how they're going to feel about it if I express it to other people. So I always try to keep it quiet. But this person's been doing phenomenal work. I've asked them not to weigh themselves. Against my will, after about 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks or so, they weighed themselves just last week. They're down 12 pounds, which is fantastic. That was one of their goals, to lose about 30 pounds or so. So they're down 12 pounds. My suggestion to them was to increase their protein and to increase their food intake. One of my main concerns for my clients is that as they start to move, especially if they're very sedentary lifestyle, and they start to make healthier, conscious decisions when they're eating, they have a tendency to calorically get a lot less in than what they normally do. So I want to make sure that this person is maintaining their muscle mass. I want to make sure that they're able to maintain that the metabolism that they've an increased metabolism rather than dropping body fat and slowing the metabolism down. So just reassuring that, hey, if we're going to continue to lose weight in this fashion at this speed, that's healthy. We're still losing somewhere between 1 and 2 pounds of fat mass per week, which is healthy. But I want to make sure that it is fat mass and that it's not muscle mass, and that we're preserving all the muscle that you have. This person went from a 190, 195 frame, and they want to get down to about a 160, 165 frame. So to me, that's fantastic because they have.
Can I ask to interrupt the idea of weighing? When you say you don't, against your best wishes, it was like 4 weeks in, they finally weighed themselves. What was your thought around not having them weigh themselves for a while, and what point would you have wanted them to weigh themselves?
Yeah, based off of I like to follow up with questions. How are you feeling? How are your clothes fitting? Do you notice any increases of range of movement? Hey, I noticed that you're the first time we worked out together, you were dry heaving. This is the third or fourth time and you're not doing that anymore. Have you noticed that your recovery is better? Have you noticed that you're able to go and do more in terms of more with your body, whether it's increased range of motion or it's repetitions, um, or longer durations of time? So I look for them to still have rewards, constantly rewards along the way where they can go like this, but I don't want them to be too concerned with the number on the scale. If they're doing the right things, again, this is a person that's done nothing. They're gone from a completely sedentary, they're sitting in front of a computer the majority of the day, and they're eating out 4, 5, 6 times a week. So if we start making it you take this person and they're working out now twice a week with me, and then we're making conscious decisions with their food, they're going to get results. The question is what kind of results are you getting? Are you conscious of those results? And are they enough for you to go like this and feel confident about yourself rather than a number, right? It's like that be friend, the validation of somebody else's opinion is not really living or something like that. What is that one? Is that it?
I'm going to get it wrong, but
when you live for the validation of others, you're not really living.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of it. You're looking for the validation of somebody else's opinion based off of that number, usually on the scale. And if you're doing the right things, you're going to feel good, and it's going to take its course. That was my point. Is if you do the right things, you're going to notice all these changes. And it was just more of a sheer curiosity from this individual. It wasn't like I have to go do it. It was just saying, hey, I noticed that things are fitting different. I'm changing quickly. I'm getting back to my old athletic days of high school and college, where I was a really decently high athlete at that time. So it's cool to see the mindset changes of the individual rather than necessarily the physical, but the physical come along with it. So of course,
I love the idea of the off scale, right? Being, I think, the main focus for you guys. And I think there is a big difference. And I'm curious if this would be something that you would focus on differently. I know that just where my practice has been, I tend not to work, and it's not that I don't want to, it's just that kind of where I've been in the environments that I've been in. I haven't been working with people in larger bodies for a good period of time now. And, there are a few that I'll end up working with, but, most people I think are topping out at about 15 pounds that they're looking to lose, versus like when I first started in 2010 as a dietitian, I was seeing people that were looking to lose like 100, 110, maybe 95, maybe down to set. So it was a lot, right? I would almost say that it was easier to work with with a population that was in a heavier body, because it was easier to make some of these changes and there was more bang for the buck. And so it was something where at that time, I would never really have someone really weigh themselves, because I think that if they were doing what we were asking, they would kind of see things happening. And so I get so interested, especially when I'm working with my leaner athletes that are looking to drop body fat. I do make, I'm curious what your thought is on this. With my leaner individuals, the people that are starting at like 15% body fat, which some people would give their left arm for, right, already. And they're, some people, you might look at that person and be like, why do they even want to lose body fat? Well, it's not up to you, so it doesn't matter, right? But it's something where like they have their own goal. I like to step into that role as like, yeah, I can definitely show you as long as you're willing to take the safe steps to do it. But I do make weighing a very regular thing, for the purpose of, and this isn't saying that weighing or not weighing is so wrong. It's just how I've gone about it, especially with the leaner people, because a lot of times with my leaner individuals, emotions play a larger role than with a lot of the people that I was working with that were in larger bodies. Reason being is that there's usually slower progress. There's almost this diminishing return. When you're already at a leaner body, it's a little bit harder for you to actually get leaner. And so when I look at someone's scale weight and they tell me, you know what, I feel as if I'm gaining weight back, or I'm gaining body fat back, or I'm not making progress, I love to hear their emotion, their feeling. It tells me something, right? But then it's also something where, well, let's look at the scale and see what's actually happening. And so for a lot of people, it's like, well, you know what? I feel like, and the other way around, some people will automatically just go use the scale anyway. and they'll tell me, well, the scale's up. I'm like, great, the scale. Well, here, let's look at your body composition. Or someone tells me, I feel like I just feel fluffier, right? A lot of people will say that, especially when they have been in a leaner body for a while. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, great, well, that means something, right? And you could have more water weight on you or something, whatever's going on. It could be inflammation. You feel that way right now. But if we look back at a very objective number, I can easily say, I hear you, how, like what you're saying. If you're telling me that you're having a really hard time staying with these habits, maybe some of these habits aren't as sustainable. Why don't we find a different way to go about doing it? But I'll tell you this, you have to trust this process because the scale is not changing. I always love, this is the last thing I'll say. I always love to ask my clients, my athletes, my people to do something. And then my first question is never, hey, what was good? What was great? Tell me all the good things. I don't hate that question, but I find that it's not as beneficial as the question of what was the detriment? Like if I ask someone to increase their carbohydrate, or I ask somebody to work out less, or I ask somebody to, name the thing, whether it's more or less protein, more or less carbohydrate, more or less fat, right? Or add one more meal in, take one meal out. What was the detriment? And a lot of times when I ask someone, especially in the realm of like carbohydrates and fat, I'm like, look, your fat's been low. We're going to have an issue, especially when it comes to things just like your overall hormone production and your satiety and all this kind of. So let's eat a little bit more fat right now, or let's eat a little more carb. And my first question is, what's the detriment? And most times when we do it appropriately, someone's going to say nothing, right? And I'm like, an absence of a detriment means that we're doing a really good thing, as long as things like the scale's not moving negatively, or that off scale and the mindset too. So I love that. I love going about that. I do utilize the scale a little bit more than I think with my leaner people than I would say I have in the past. So.
Well, you bring up so many good points, and I'm writing some things over here on my mirror just because I don't want to forget about it. But when it all comes down to it, I think people in general, you, me, just everybody, right, have a hard time with consistency and staying consistent with something. Like right now, we're doing these steps for this challenge, right? How consistent can we be for this period of time? Now, we don't need to do that for the whole time, but I do believe that it is a representation of how we handle certain things and how we go across and how we take care of issues and stuff like that. I'm going to backtrack a little bit because you started talking about a larger body person compared to the skinnier or the leaner individual. And I wrote up here on the board is that I would prefer a large body, or I put a large body is greater than a skinny fat person. And I wrote that, and I started kind of mixing and matching a little bit of what you were saying. And to me, the larger individual has a hard time prioritizing. Of course, there's some emotion involved, don't get me wrong, but they have a hard time prioritizing certain things, major things. If you get me a skinny fat person, right, somebody who looks lean, but when you go grab them, they're just squishy. Their body fat is extremely high. They're that person that does this roller coaster ride of like, ooh, I feel like I'm in shape and I'm not in shape and I feel fluffy. Oh my God, look at me. What's the scale say? Oh my gosh, I ate this. The scale said this, but I ate this and the scale said that. I don't know what the hell to do, right? That person's more emotional. That person's got a hard complex about food and emotional attachment somewhere along the way, and confusion about how it treats their body and how it plays a role. Whereas the bigger person has to prioritize these main pictures, and they start to see all the results. But at some point, of course, to me, this whole process of moving is emotional. All of it is emotional. If it wasn't emotional, we would all be doing it, right? A lot of us don't do it because we're scared of it, but it's too hard, it's too difficult. We come up with some sort of excuse to prioritize anything and everything other than the movements and so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just consiconsistency.
You know what? Which is what I would say is, I love the message that I do bring him up often, and I always stumble over his name in my head and I forget his name, but I'm going to say this, is that if you love a good message about where I think this is definitely going, the idea of, what else they get, dieting from the inside out, because that's the name of the podcast. Jared Hamilton has a great podcast. It's called Dieting from the Inside Out. He has his own business around weight loss mainly, but he starts with dieting from the inside out. And it's someone who he says often, he'll say that you have to earn the right to go into a fat loss phase. And I think there's nuance within you have the right to do it. But basically the fact of like, what's the point of going into a body fat loss phase if, you're not going to be able to maintain that? And I think it's not a tired message. It is a message that's used a lot, but it's not wrong. Just because there's a message used often does not mean it's wrong. So looking from the inside out, I think is going to be an important thing for so many people. And a lot of people have a really hard time there. So anyway, good stuff there. Let's move, just so I know we're still building out the whole structure this week. Always say we're trying to get in 40 minutes, but it's always tough. But I wanted to quickly touch on a few things that are going on in the chat right now. I think it's pretty good. So Scuba's here. Scuba's always a great community in the chat member. He's asking about chiropractors. I don't go to a chiropractor, but I am, and who's playing goal today? Oh my gosh, Brofit. I have so much content that I'm going through right now. So I feel like I've been sitting more than I need to, but my neck has been killing me lately. I can't tell what it is. I don't think I lifted anything wrong. So I'm usually pretty good, but I think either slept on it wrong or I might be getting sick and have a virus. That's the only thing that I can think of. I'm not sure. So there's just a massage place around the corner I'm going to go to and see what I can do. But do you go to a chiropractor?
Do you ever get tension headaches where you feel like your traps are too tight, where it's pulling off like literally your skull away?
No, that's never been me. There was a time in my life where I think it was before I ever went to therapy where clenching apparently was a big thing for me, and I was getting a lot of like challenges here. Lenny Bronstein, is that you? Lenny, is that you in the chat? Len Braun, is that you, buddy? I'm not sure. It might be. It sounds like a Lenny joke, so I think it might be. Yeah, no, I don't know what it is, but I have to get it worked out, and I try my usual things. But anyway, why were you asking?
Well, I know that sometimes you like to lift. Well, when I see videos of you lifting, sometimes it's in the CrossFit gym. So I know that with CrossFit and or Olympic lifting, specifically clean and jerk snatches, and clean and jerks and snatches. Those are probably the main two that have a tendency to create some tension headaches. I know myself, when I start to do certain exercises, I will start to get tension headaches. Remember we actually had a show last week, and at the end of the show, you're like, "Hey, are you doing okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm just really tired." And I had a hard workout before that at the Jewish Community Center down the street, and I ended up for the next 7 hours was laying in bed with just a horrible headache. And so I think it was just tension headaches. So certain things, whether it's like handstand walks or certain presses, or used to be like handstand push-ups and stuff like that, that really bothered me. But now, even if I do like, and I really love doing these for my warm-ups too. So it's really bugging me that they've been bothering me. But I'll do like a banded pull apart to work on my scapula or just to kind of get my shoulders warmed up before any sort of like rowing or pulling. And
we want to make this Bro Fits move of the day.
Sure. No, I don't. I have one written down, and I want to talk about it. And I actually feel like I prepared myself for today. So I wrote down a few things on a note, and I want to do that. So I'm just going to show you what I did and why it gave me tension headaches. But you can see basically keeping the arm straight. You can see my shoulder blades are pinching together. I'm really trying to focus on like right in the middle, like where a bra strap area would be. And I'm really trying to get that pinched together rather than pulling my arms or bending my elbows. Arms are just locked up. Shoulders are down and back, and I'm simply just trying to pinch. That to me starts to light up my traps a lot, and I'll start to get tension headaches, even though I love it as a beautiful warm-up. It's a love-hate relationship.
That's great. I'm sorry, I was just so distracted by the definition in your shoulders and your triceps. I couldn't even pay attention.
Stop it. Oh, stop it. But if you want some awesome, phenomenal definition, coming out soon, I'm going to be offering out. I've never talked about offering out anything to anybody other than just working with them and not asking anything in return. But I am going to be hosting and creating a class for us dads, specifically dads, older people, guys in their 30s and 40s and a little bit older who want to move a little bit more efficiently, who want to be stronger, healthier, be a little bit more defined, have better control over their body, and not have to lift any weight while doing it.
I think that is an excellent thing. I know I found, anyway, I'll leave my own thought. The other thing I saw Scuba bring up was this, and I didn't get it at first what he was saying, because again, whatever Scuba says is always a little bit like a trivia, or I don't know. Does the eat 30 grams within 30 minutes of waking and then 30 minutes of a heart rate at 135 method work? Well, I guess I don't know. What do you mean? What does work mean? Does that mean in terms of muscle preservation? Does it mean muscle protein synthesis? Does it mean satiety? What is it you're really focusing on there? I'm going to tell you this, is that I think that timing of meals does matter, but for the majority of the population, I would say it doesn't. It can make, a 1, 2, 3, 4% difference, right? As I make those numbers up for many people that maybe are really dialed into their training, but it's not going to be so much of an issue for, I would say, the general population that's not really training specifically for something. But again, I'd be curious what you mean by work, because I don't know what the goal is there. So let me know what's going on there. I also don't think that Be the Bigger Person is the one that works out the most. There's obviously a Viking and a Kind Warrior. So like, come on. Lenny, I laughed at your joke. That was pretty good. We have a lot of stuff going in over here. I want to make sure that we're not getting too deep within some of these things over here. Like, they're definitely, like, things could be happening depending on what's happening. Like, I know that I wouldn't feel comfortable throwing into a chat what's happening in someone's spine that could be leading to anything in their brain, but possible. I mean, it's definitely something. I think it's a good conversation to possibly have there. We had Nacho over here getting frequent migraines. And it looks like his doctor's asking him to take some medication that he doesn't want to take. That's always a little bit, there's a difference between, I think, a doctor asking you to take a medication and recommending one and letting you know what it can do, and I think some of the negative side effects that can come with it. So I hope that's definitely a conversation you guys are having. From a training and nutrition standpoint, when it comes to migraines, I don't get migraines. I don't really get headaches very often whatsoever. So again, like, this is out of my scope. I really wouldn't, tell you anything beyond, making sure that, electrolytes and making sure that we are hydrated, making sure that blood sugar is kind of controlled there. But migraines are a different thing than just a headache, for sure. So if they're frequent, which you say, but if they're chronic, that would be something I'd want to make sure that it's, what we kind of talk about there. But you were mentioning that you get, do you get migraines, or is it just intense headaches that you were feeling?
Mine's all workout related. It's not stress induced. It's all workout related. I haven't figured it out quite yet exactly. I remember more CrossFit days. It was overhead type stuff. Really, when I was inverted, doing handstand push-ups and walking a lot on my hands. That was, I expect some of those things to happen. Yeah, you're doing snatches and cleans where you're shrugging constantly and just squishing everything up into that position. I have a tendency to it happen. So that's why, to me, a balance of everything is extremely important. I had one of the fathers of one of the kids that goes to school with my son. His dad came and worked out with me yesterday. I've kind of open-ended offer to a lot of the dads when we get together. For school events and stuff, of like, hey, you guys are welcome to come over and work out at any time. I love to do it. And so one of the dads took me up on it, and we got to move around and have a good time. And it just showed me even this guy who was a really good athlete, and he was still a rugby player, and he's in his 40s and he's still moving around and doing his thing. we all have things that we can improve on, like everybody. And so, anyways, I'm getting completely off topic.
No,
Completely
you're
off.
not. It's all good. It's all good. And sometimes you got to rant a little bit, but there's always nuggets. There's always nuggets. You keep them coming. Don't ever judge yourself. So it's all good there. But yeah, no, just making sure we can get to the chat over here. I guess we were talking about fat loss at the time. If I went back up here though, and would I say that this is a necessary thing? I see that it's in quotes, and I see that you mentioned it was coming from Tim Ferriss. I mean, Tim Ferriss, very entertaining writer, very entertaining in his podcast and all that kind of stuff too. A lot of what he does is not exactly necessary. It's the same thing as like Huberman telling you that you need to delay your coffee intake 90 minutes after you wake up and you have to get sunlight into your eyes. Like, can it be beneficial? Well, sure, but you're looking at fractions of the benefit in some cases. And there's a lot of people that really are, and I like to tell a lot of my clients this. I tell them, like, you are not average. Like, you are not an average person. So when I ask you to walk 15,000 steps on average a day, I'm asking you to do that because you don't have average goals. You're not an average person. So a lot of these things, like for the average individual, right, I would just say it's probably not so necessary, but they are tools. So eating 30 grams and that specific number, it's like, who gives a shit? I mean, 30 grams can be great, but you know what? What I look at, I always look at muscle health. And now we're getting into people saying different things. But I'm always going to say that, we're looking to definitely prioritize muscle protein synthesis throughout your day. 0.26 grams of protein per pound is usually where we get to whenever we're eating to kick off, to get over that threshold of muscle protein synthesis. But really, just getting enough protein throughout the day is going to be way more important than trying to like time things out and get exactly 30 grams of protein. Are there benefits? Yeah, there can be, because that can help with satiety. I also love talking brain health and getting those amino acids into your bloodstream. A lot of those proteins, all those amino acids, those are going to be precursors up here for things just like your dopamine and your serotonin and oxytocin, right? So to get yourself ready for the day, it can benefit you a ton. But is it necessary? No, it definitely is not. So anyway, that's that. There's so many. Well, yes, Scuba, you're basically quoting all things Andrew Huberman right now, the adenosine, and then also things just like your melatonin. Those are the things that you really are looking to kind of come down. You want those to be down regulated as you wake up, and you have things just like your cortisol, and then also your forgetting it all right now. What's the other one? Cortisol and I'm gonna forget it, but that's basically what you're coming up to. It's just one way. It's one way of trying, and if it works for you, great, right? If it works for you, your health, your mindset, your definition of success, by all means, do it. But it's not necessary. But it's great. I love to bucket things personally. I love to do that, and if 30-30-30 works for you, by all means, do it. But it's not necessary. So just think of it like that. But a lot of things have come out since the 4-Hour Body, so just keep those ears open.
No, I'll give my child
estrogen, Scuba.
I'm going to give my 30-second rant and child version of what he's talking about with the 30 grams of protein and stuff like that. 30 grams of protein in the morning, again, irrelevant number, I think. And why just protein? Why not proteins, carbs, and fats to balance out your blood sugar level? That would be my personal question. But is it going to increase your metabolism if you've done nothing and you're not eating and you all of a sudden start eating in the morning? Yes. Do most people have a hard time eating in the morning because they overeat the night before? Yes. 30 minutes, getting 30 grams of protein in within 30 minutes of your heart rate. Personally, this is just a personal thing that I do. I have a 4-to-1 ratio of carbs to protein immediately within the first 30 minutes of after a workout. So if I've got 10 grams of protein, I need 40 grams of carbohydrates. So usually what I do is I get the majority of my carbohydrates out of the way. So if I need 44 grams, I'll take about 11 grams of protein. And then after that 30 minutes, I'll finish the entire rest of the meal of my proteins and my fats. So I'm still getting my proteins, carbs, and fats. I'm still trying to more or less balance my blood sugar level throughout the day. But can it increase your metabolism if you're not eating in the morning? Yes. Are there benefits? Absolutely. I think Ryan pinpointed on all of them, but that was my dumbed down version.
trying to mute as we had some sirens going through. I wouldn't say that not eating is going to increase your metabolism in the morning, but
no, I'm saying if you're not eating currently and you start to eat, I think it will increase your metabolism.
oh yeah, there's the thermic effect of food, which is definitely something. And yeah, you will burn more calories when you are eating more protein. So you can get into like all these fractions of things. We're saying the same thing, anyway, but no, it's good. Always very thought-provoking things that Stuart brings to the table. So I always appreciate it. But you know what time it is?
I do.
Who knows what time it is? Wait, hold on. I missed it. Hold on. Don't. Wait, where is it? Where'd it go? You swear to God. Wait, no, it's just an overlay.
Oh, no, wrong.
It's the BroFit movement of the day. It's the BroFit movement of the day.
I had it on loop. I was just supposed to go one time. That's okay though. All right, this is the time of day where BroFit is going to show us a movement that can benefit you in ways. And so far, we've done great things. We've done getting those hips healthy. We've done some posture focused things. And right now, he's going to show us. What are you showing us today, BroFit?
We are going to combine a few different movements. We're going to combine a hinge along with the press. We're going to do one of my favorite exercises of all time when I don't want to have to think and I want a total full body movement. And I want just a bang for my buck, something where I feel like I'm lifting a little bit of weight, I'm getting my heart rate up, I'm still getting a stretch, I'm still moving my entire body, and it's a challenge. So this is what we're going to do. It's called a ground to overhead, and we're going to do it with a plate, okay? Whether you've got a 45-pound plate or you've got a 10-pound plate, it doesn't matter, okay? Just ground it.
Is that it? Ground overhead?
Ground to overhead. Ground
to overhead.
Correct. So we're going to go from the ground to over the head.
Wait, hold on. Can I ask a question? Why are we doing this?
For the reasons I just explained.
I'm so sorry.
To increase your heart rate, to increase your metabolism. This is for somebody who likes doing HIIT exercises or likes doing interval training, or if you like to do some sort of high intensity, this is for like athletes. I do this whether I'm trying to stretch and I can go through a 10-pound and stay really, really light, or I can make this extremely explosive and fast and heavy, really depending on where I'm at and what my goals are. But I'll get Mrs. Jones to do this with a 5 or 10-pound plate. So right here, you can see I've got a 5-pound. It's just a classic 5-pound plate. It's nothing, right? You can hold it up, but no big deal. So I can get Mrs. Jones lifting with this, or again, I can get in a top-notch athlete to come in here and lift the 20 kilos or 25 kilos. It's all relative. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a few different movements together. Okay, we've talked about straddling over the weight, and we're going to do so again. We're going to straddle over a weight. Okay, so we're right on top of the weight. The weight's directly in between our heels. We're going to go to that hinge that we talked about last time. Remember that hinge? We pushed our hips straight back. Our back stayed nice and straight. Our hands were on our knees and our shins were vertical. So right now we feel this nice stretch. From here, I'm going to bend the knees to go down and pick up my weight. So my back is still straight. My hips are still back. From here, I'm going to stand straight up. Weight's going to stay close to the body. And from here, we're going to press all the way up and then reverse it. So I should be able to look through the hole. I want to keep it close to the body. I do not want it out away from me. From here, my thumbs will go down, push the butt back, and knees go out. And we repeat. So my butt goes back, and what's driving the weight upward is my hips. So it's kind of like a kettlebell swing where my hips would go out, but instead of going out, I want to think my hips are going up. Okay, so it's not a movement where we break it down into two pieces. It's going to be one solid movement. Let me see if I can get an angle for you. I'll give you this angle down. Thumbs go down, butt goes back, knees are out. So you can see this is my starting position from this angle. That's my same starting position. If I want to be in a squat, that's fine. If I want my hips to be higher and more of a hinge, that's fine. The major difference, if my hips are high, I'm going to feel my hamstrings and my butt. If I push my butt down and my chest up, now I'm going to feel more of my quads and my thighs. So from here, squeeze the butt, bam, drive the weight all the way up, and repeat. So full speed, tap, pop. I'm using my hips to generate all the effort in my upper body. To prove my point of using your hips, here's a 70-pound dumbbell. That's me trying to lift it above my head. If I use my hips, I can now transfer a lot of energy. So I love these. You can already hear my heart rate's up. I'm using my posterior chain, my glutes, my hamstrings, my quads, my lower back. I've got to brace my stomach so my core is working tenfold. And of course, as I'm pressing, I'm still getting some shoulder stability. But again, I can get Mrs. Jones to do this with a 5-pound plate. And to go nice and slow, making sure this is more positional and technique oriented or related, right? And if it's more related to an athlete of some sort, I can make it really explosive. So there you go.
That was great. I was thinking I had recommended people at home can use a heavy textbook with their dog, as long as your dog doesn't move too much. I think that would be a really good idea. I'm someone who, I really do try and reserve my time to go to a gym to do any of my movements. Because I know if I do them at home, then it's starting to kind of get all intertwined, and I just like to stay consistent with what I'm doing. But I've done this many times as part of a workout for myself when I'm looking to where it's just a lesser active day. And so maybe, I'm trying not to go too heavy. And this is actually part of, I would say, more of my like active recovery day, where I can just grab a small plate and I can do that kind of thing, or I can grab a heavy kettlebell and do it too. But, if I would say this, because I'm always thinking about the person at home, like, why would I do this? Well, we talked about things like the hip mobility. Why am I going to get on the ground and shove my my crotch in the air? Well, you're doing it because it's going to help you with your overall strength, but getting things moving, it's going to make you feel better. Why are you going to get your posture going a little bit better? Because it's going to get you kind of feeling better as you're doing work, right? And this kind of thing too. What's that?
I'm going to answer your question. If you have a kid and you pick up your kid, you're doing this.
Yeah.
Essentially, you're doing this movement. You're doing a hinge of some sort or a squat of some sort. You're having to get leverage. If you pick up your weight in different areas around you, you're going to have, bad positioning. It's still, I've noticed that, especially when I started carrying my dad as being a stay-at-home dad, and I'm carrying a baby around all the time, or was carrying a baby around, just the internal rotation and the stress that it has on the shoulders, right? And just so, to me,
sure.
It relates to anything and everything that we do. You ever get a 40-pound bag of dog food and have to leverage it up into the car or the truck? It would be really neat to not only know how to move correctly, but how to leverage and be more efficient so that you can get from point A to point B without doing all the damn work. Like, let's be real. We don't want to do the work. We just want to get it accomplished.
It's a lifestyle thing, I think, for many people without getting injured. I've seen so many people, when I was definitely working clinically, you'd see people, like there were many things like that would just kind of ground someone. It was really hard. But anyway, I loved it. Great stuff.
It's the broken movement of the day.
Awesome. We got the movement of the day. We can bring that down now. Great movement. I think that is a full body one. I think that's a more full body one than we had before. So we failed to finish by 40 minutes. That's okay though. We will eventually get it down. So we've done things just like our state of current topics. We've done our BroFits movement of the day, and a little bit of a counter argument right now. I think that we're going to have a little bit of fun.
This way, that way.
Nice. So we got a little bit of a debate happening, and we're going to be able to figure out what we're going to do. And we're going to talk about this. Now, we've done some nutrition stuff. We've done a lot of stuff on training, whatever's going on. And what we do 2 minutes, basically pro this argument, and then we do against. And so it's where we talk about it. We don't know where we're going just yet with all of these things. Hold on. We're going to make sure we can flip a coin on this.
Okay.
I'll flip a coin. All right, bro. Bro, fit. What do you want to do? Do you want to do? Well, do you want to know the topic first, or do you want to flip first? What do you want to do?
Ooh, I don't know. Let's do a topic first.
All right. Plus, I want to ask quickly: is there anyone in the chat watching right now? If you want to throw in the chat a topic that we can throw on the wheel, and then if we don't get it to today, we might get it to next time. Because remember, we're live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday right now, and we can throw on the wheel. If we land on it, we will make sure we can tag you and give you a little bit of a rundown of what's going on. But Brofit, we got a coin from one of the most recent tournaments. So we'll do that. We'll do heads. So we got our very, 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 very lucky black cat. That'll be heads, and I'll let you choose. Oh, yes, and then I just kept talking. Do you want to see the topic first, or do you want to flip first?
Let's see the topic first.
Let's do the topic first.
That wheel.
I like a different wheel. I can't get the wheel that we had last time, which I'm upset about, but here we go. All right, here it is. Okay, core stability. This is a tough one to go. I don't know how we're going to talk about this on both ends, because why not? But core stability, it's a topic to talk about, and I think it's a necessary thing to talk about. I think it's definitely a good thing. Let's make sure we remind everyone what it is that we're going to be doing. So we got our friendly counter arguments. That's going to happen there. But you know what we're going to do? Let's leave this as something to scroll at the bottom so we know what's going against that. Let's do this on this side. We're doing core stability. All right. Do we all know what core stability is? You want to give us a little bit of a rundown of what core stability is?
Listen, you put the big hand and the little hand, and well, listen, if you don't know how to do that, just ring your call button and Tommy will come back there and hit you over the head with a tack hammer because you are a retard. No, sorry. I had a movie quote in my head. I think it was last night. And Blaze, I think it was all of Blaze's beautiful. No, it wasn't Blaze. It was Rob Messer and all of his movie night stuff on Whatnot. I think got my movie juices flowing. But no, core stability is pretty simple. Just the stability of your spine. Be able to structurally support and support your spine. It's almost as simple. Almost
so we're looking to. I mean, I feel like there's almost no reason to not be pro core stability, obviously. So I don't even know why this is a topic. It is a topic because of a list that I looked through, so it's on there. But here, we'll do heads and then we'll do tails over here. So VF is going to be tails. We got heads. We'll make we'll choose. Do you want heads or tails?
I'll go heads.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
Heads it is. Do you want to be pro or not?
Yes, yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we're going to go the other direction on this. That's okay though.
Then I'll go anti because I feel like I might be able to be a dick about it or something.
Oh wow, that's fun.
No, I'm going to go with pro just because I'm just going to stick with it. I'm going to go pro.
All right, as a reminder.
This way, that way.
All right, we got core stability. Brofit's going to set the timer because the amount of times that I've tried to set a timer for myself and put it on screen has not worked. So we're going to do that. We're going to set it to be against core stability. This is dumb, but we're going to make it happen anyway. So we're going to do it.
Have you tried any of these for your neck yet today?
Today, no. I will tell you today. Probably the worst movement day for me was Saturday, and that was just dumb. But it was also raining, and it all came together. That was anyway. But today I got to get out a little more. Should be good.
2 minutes.
Let's go.
2 minutes. Here we go.
Show us the timer. I want to see the timer.
3, 2, 1. Okay, we're talking about core stability. Core stability is absolutely one of the key crucial components in my opinion. Talking about having not only control over the stability of your spine, but having the strength, having the endurance, having the flexibility, the motor control, just the proper functioning of your spine. When we start to move incorrectly, we start to put pressure and tension on the spine. And if the spine is the one thing that controls my central nervous system and everything to my body, I want to protect it with all that I can, right? If this is the main computer, more or less, I want to protect it. And so having core stability is going to be extremely important, whether I'm moving as Mr. or Mrs. Jones when I'm 70 years old. The better stability that I have over my core, the better balance I have, the better endurance I have, usually the better flexibility that they'll have. So to me, core stability really plays into a lot of bit of everything, whether I'm simply being athletic and twisting and turning, or if I'm walking around and sitting down and standing up. To me, if your spine was completely fused, you would lose a lot of abilities to just simply live and thrive. So core stability can be as simple as planks, or it can be as complex as a clean and jerk or a snatch, but different ways to work on core stability. And I feel it's extremely important. Sorry, you could not see that timer.
It's all good. It went away. I just figured it was going to beep.
It did.
As long as we have people to know what we're doing, then it's pretty good. I'm going to keep throwing up my
This way, that way.
Cool. So this way, that way. We had we're talking core stability. You can see it right on the screen right now. We're choosing. Brofit just chose to be very pro core stability. And I think it was good. I'm going to be anti core stability in the most creative way that I can find, so that we can talk openly and creatively about this. So that's what we're gonna do. So bring us back a little bit to this timer so I can see it.
I lost you.
Oh no. You got a little bit of frozen, bro.
There we are. You're back now. I got you too. You were frozen as well.
Oh no.
Yep, we're back.
Still frozen on my screen. That's okay. I do have a timer. Maybe you just look at the live timer, I guess, and I can just go off of that.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can totally hear you. Just
All right.
see.
All right. Well, we're gonna start in 10 seconds. You'll hear that 3, 2, 1 beat.
Nice.
Let me know if and when I come back up.
All right, okay. So look, we're talking core stability, and core stability, it has a lot of limitations to it by only focusing on it. I'm going to say that core stability is the same thing as the crowd that loves to talk about things just like eating in moderation, or making sure that you are, making good choices. What does it actually mean? Just focusing on core stability, or asking someone to stabilize your core, I think it's a message that's completely missed by the average person. And I think that they're going to do a lot better by having, I think, clear and focused direction in terms of different body parts. Now, core stability, while it has its obvious benefits, what can be a lot better is telling somebody to make sure that they are going to be practicing and being strong in their front squat, making sure that they are keeping their back straight, making sure that they're understanding how to create pressure in their stomach when they're actually lifting. Just saying core stability and using that term, I think, is incredibly general. And I think that it's not actually helping us to say anymore, as much as we can give very clear and direct instruction by focusing on the number of different movements and body parts that are going to involve all things core stability. So if we can make sure that Mrs. Jones isn't just letting it fly over her head, and we're showing her all the movements that, whether we say core stability or not, she can say, I'm strong in my front squat. I know that I can get up and down off the ground really confidently. I know that I can make sure that I'm going to be lifting things off the ground with a lot of, without any pain. Once you're able to do those things, it doesn't matter if you talk core stability, because if you just focus on your core, I think a lot of people only think abs, and core stability is a lot more than just abs.
All right. Time. Uh-oh, you froze right at the time.
Oh no, we know what it is. I keep going back and
We'll
forth.
get you back. We're coming back.
Yes.
I know you'll get back. I'm probably.
Should be good, pretty good. All right, we did this way, that way. We talked 2 minutes pro for or against core stability being a thing. This one seems a little silly, as of course core stability is a necessary thing, but I think it does bring up a good point, which can be part of my counter. But we do 1 minute each just to kind of talk on the other side of things against the other person, and I think we'll be good to go. Maybe we can get this done in 60 minutes. 60 minutes is pretty good, though. I got to be honest. We've been over before.
Don't you go dying on me. He's back.
I keep clicking back to different screens to see if you'll come back.
It's weird. It's like I see you pause, and I think it's happening the same thing on your end too, where I just pause, but you look okay, and it comes back after like 20 seconds. So, all right, we're in our minute arguments.
Yep.
All right, 1 minute argument starting in 10. Beep, 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 beep. For any of you out there, have you heard the terminology or the phrase, you drive for show and you putt for dough? That's the way I feel about core stability. Core stability is kind of like putting for dough in the golf game. You can drive for show, but if you can't putt for dough, you're not learning how to play the game. What I mean by that is, and you've agreed to it, is that we can actually improve all the muscles of our entire body by specifically just working on our core. And it doesn't necessarily work the other way around. So if I am working on my core stability, I have the opportunity and ability to work all my other major muscle groups. But if I work out all my other major muscle groups, I may be lacking out on the core stability. So I agree with you. Core stability is extremely improvement, even if we have to fake out our clients with different terminology and help them succeed. It's still core stability.
Awesome. Throw me in, coach. Let's get this done.
This was a silly one. I feel like we should just both talk about it and agree upon it and tell how fucking awesome core stability is. Here we go.
You all heard him say it. You all heard Brian say I was right. So I think that is just telling enough about how great my side of the argument is, about how core stability is just the most general term that nobody really understands without actually more instruction. So if we can make sure that we take the idea of core stability and just pocket that and then get into the things that actually matter most. Your core is more than just your abs. Your core is more than just doing a few sit-ups. But that's what people think when we say those words. So let's make sure that we understand that our core is all of us. And that when we can make sure that we are strong in all areas, that we are going to have a strong core, we're going to be healthier, we're going to be a more confident individual, and you will likely get hurt less and keep yourself out of the hospital where you will die sooner. And so now you're better for it. So core stability, toss it out. It's all good. All right. Good stuff. Yeah. You know what? You can say it's a little silly. I get it. It can be a little silly, but it makes you think, because you know what I hate, and the thing that really works for a lot of people and shows, and that's what we want, right? We want something of interest here. If we keep agreeing on the same thing every single time, who wants to watch that? So I think making sure that there's space for the counter argument is so important, because there will be something that comes up that we won't think about, and all of a sudden, it clicks, and we're happy to have talked about it. So I think it's definitely good. But yeah, overall, look, core stability is a great thing.
Point profit.
Point profit. And that
This way, that way.
very, very friendly debate. Easy one. Remember, we will, again, at some point, we can add some more things. I guess we should be able to take some of these things off of the wheel, right? But we'll do that at some point. If you guys have anything that you'd like to add, we got a good number of people still checking in over on X right now. If there's any nutrition training topics that you want us to cover, we want to add it to the wheel. So let us know so we can definitely put it onto that. We'll be good to go. But that's an hour. Again, we're trying to
freeze again. We'll be back in about 15 seconds. Hold up.
It's okay.
14,
okay.
13. Ryan's clicking around. 12,
It's
11,
okay.
10, 9,
It's
8,
okay.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're back.
We're back. We're doing it. You're back.
15 seconds.
But yeah, I think that's the show, guys. I think we did a good stuff. Brofit, any last statements? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I wrote down my final thoughts earlier just because it was on my mind. So today's decisions, they often affect and foreshadows tomorrow's challenges, and they also reflect yesterday's choices. So today, we just need to lean in. We need to prioritize and can start to build our foundation. Don't be afraid to be great, guys.
Don't be afraid to be great. And as I always do, remember, and this is important for scuba, because you were on this too. Remember that if it's working for you, your health, your mindset, and your definition of success, no one deserves to tell you different. You do you, because that's the most important thing. All right? You know yourself better than anyone else, and no one cares about you more than yourself. So make sure you do that. Cool. All right, Brofit. Enjoy your nice weather. I'm going to go outside in my questionable fall weather here.
111 today.
What's that?
111 today. 111. That's a high.
Brofit's in Arizona, if you don't know. All right, guys.
See y'all.
See you soon. Bye.